Hey everyone, what I would like to show you in this video is a very easy and simple technique you can use to make a flower like this one. Very abstract. I am doing this on Nara paper and I'm using Ranger Wild Plum. Beautiful color. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to put down a little bit of ink and then you're going to get your isopropyl and just add a little on top. Now I'm going to take my hair dryer and I'm going to start sort of blending it in a little bit. I want to spread this out so it's not too small, but how this ends up looking is not important at all, actually. We just need to blend in the ink and the iso, spread it out a little bit, and then dry it. So what this looks like is not important at all. What we're going to do is we're going to use this ink and start making petals. We're not going to add any more ink. We're just going to use the ink that is now already on the paper. So just going to dry this last little bit. And then you are going to add a little isopropyl, like on the right hand side. You're going to get your hair dryer and you're going to very gently start to move the isopropyl around so that you blend in the ink that is already on the paper. Now you can very gently push it into the shape that you want this to be. I'm just moving my hair dryer sort of around the ink. I have it very close to the paper, and if you just put your air directly down on that puddle of iso you put down, you're just going to spread it all over the paper. So keep your hair dryer close to the paper and sort of move around the ink. That will make it much easier for you to control, and I think it's a very good sort of beginner's technique that can help you figure out how you can easily control your air. We're going to do another one and just blending it in and pushing it into the shape that I want it to be. And then I'm going to start moving around the ink, pushing it back and forth from one side to the other. Now when you do this sort of back and forth, you can start create these beautiful lines. When you push it over to one side, it starts to dry a little bit, then you push it back to the other side, and that is when these beautiful lines start to appear. So my hair dryer is on the lowest setting. It's not completely cold. There is some heat, but it's sort of lukewarm. There's not a lot of heat. If your hair dryer is too warm, the ink is going to dry too fast and you're not going to have enough time to sort of move it back and forth and create these beautiful lines. So either use a cool air setting or very low on the heat. This technique works a lot better with darker colors. If you use sort of very soft, bright colors, you're not going to end up with a lot of color. When you start adding the iso, you're going to dilute it so much that there's not going to be much color left. So this works much better with the darker colors. Now you can see on this one, I've created a lot more lines. Now as I start sort of working my way around making these petals, I'm still only using the ink that I put down in the beginning. I have not added any more ink, and I think maybe 4 or 5 drops is all I put down at first, and I'm not going to add any more at all. So that just shows you with this technique, like 4 or 5 drops of ink goes a long way. And you could keep doing this. You could start adding more and more petals, doing more and more layers. And the petals will just fade out more and more and will actually just create a really, really beautiful effect. You can almost make it look a little three-dimensional. Again, if you're using a much brighter color, you will probably need to add more ink, but 4 or 5 drops is all I'm going to use for this piece. Now, the amount of ISO that you put down will first of all determine how big your petal is going to be, but also how much time you have to move the ink around. If you don't have enough ISO on, you're not going to be able to move it back and forth very much. You're not going to be able to create very many lines because it will just dry too quickly. So you might need to practice a little, figure out how much ISO you're actually going to need if you want to make these lines inside the petals. Now I think I'm just going to do one more petal, and that's going to be it. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. And when I first started out with ink, I loved watching videos like this, sort of step by step, really explaining what happens when I do this, and because I think that's just a really good way to learn. So that's why I sort of wanted to do just this short little video, one simple, easy technique, which you can then use in trying to create other things. I think this is a very good beginner's technique. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know if you would like me to do more videos like this, sort of step by step, with different techniques, creating different things. I'm kind of happy with how this turned out. It's a flower. It's very abstract, which I like. Makes it more fun. And again, the petals don't have to look alike. Different shapes, different sizes, different amount of lines just makes it so much more interesting to look at. So I'm gonna give you a little closer look. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again for my next video.